All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, an all new episode you don't want to miss. It's a very somber episode, if you will, depending on how you look at it, along with the WTF World Heavyweight Champion, Angelo Razorblade Vega.
And as you can see, Hulkamania.
Yes, definitely.
And Hogan was the only person who had this design title.
Exactly.
I call it the WrestleMania 3, but this belt lived through WrestleMania 2 and 3.
All right, so with that.
Rest in peace, Hogan.
Exactly. So we're going to get to all of that tonight. So with that, Wrestling Outlaws starts now.
Brother.
All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Torres here, an all-new episode of Wrestling Outlaws. As you can probably figure out, this episode is dedicated to the late Hulk Hogan, which happened last week.
Yeah, that's why there was no episode last week. We just stopped all operations.
Stop cold, basically.
Yes.
Just saying.
We had things planned, but because of the significance of what happened to Hogan, we just said, we'll do something now.
All right. Well, yes, exactly. I say this because,
I'm sorry, Nelson. It's just, it came out of nowhere. I was at work. And of all people I found out from was my sister. And she never texts me anything about wrestling.
Right.
That's how I was like, the way she said, did you hear what happened? It was in a Facebook Messenger. It was Hulk Hogan died. And I went, what? And I'm Googling it, and then like 5 billion people, I shit you not, were calling me because they know how I feel about being a wrestler and being a wrestling fan.
So you shit you not, you did not know that, right?
For my sister to leave me a message around 11 in the morning and then get phone calls left and right, I was like, oh my God, we lost Hogan.
Yeah. So
we wouldn't be sitting here doing this if it wasn't for guys like Hogan. Well, no, if it wasn't for Hogan.
Can I explain how I found out?
Go ahead.
Okay. So how I found out was, anything you got to say before I go on?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So
I'm just still kind of shocked and sad.
You're shocked.
Listen, if you're within the wrestling community, whether you love them or hate them, this wrestling business would not be thriving the way it is today because of Hulk Hogan.
All right.
Yes, I'm a little disappointed in Hogan's personal life, things that he said and things that he's done, but I want to remember him the way I remember him as a kid, from what I saw.
Right.
The American hero, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself, Hogan.
Right. So with that, let me explain how I found out. Now, I found out during my day job. I work, let's just say, in the newsroom in a TV station. I'll leave it at that. So I work in television during the day, just like I'm doing right now. But anyway, long story short, they told me that Hulk Hogan passed away. I was just as shocked as everybody, including him. And they wanted me to get any type of footage of Hogan. That took almost an entire afternoon. So that I had to deal with. I had to deal with like getting all footage, getting all things ready for this Hogan story that was going to be on the news, which it broke everywhere.
Yes.
So I was in a newsroom, just getting that together. Let's just say that.
But not just Hogan, Nelson. Ozzy Osbourne, too.
Yes, he passed away. Yeah, rest in peace.
And the Cosby Kid.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yes.
Who played for you in the Hawks.
It slipped my mind for a moment, all right? It's just 3 in 1 week. 3 people from our childhood.
That was last week, by
yes,
the way.
that's why it's like, holy fuck, man.
It all came in threes. Well, Ozzy
was
a little
the
bit.
Ozzy one, you could kind of understand.
How so?
But he wasn't that well.
Well, he has Parkinson's, but he did perform.
Yes. But the thing with me is, Hogan had an operation. Hogan had an operation.
Right.
At his age, that was kind of risky. But also, yeah, there's a dog here.
Yeah, no, don't mind.
Yes.
Shout out to the dog.
Here's the thing though.
Go ahead.
Bubba the Love Sponge and Hogan's daughter, according to them, they kept stressing to Hogan, you gotta slow down. You're traveling too much to promote your beer. You're doing this, doing that. You're traveling from New York to LA, back to Florida, or where else you were going all over the country promoting the real American beer, brother. And they feel it caught up with him.
Right.
That at his age, there were just times he needed a rest. I'm not saying 70 is like that old.
He was 71, but yeah.
When he passed, yes, last Thursday, 71.
He
and then Hogan's birthday's coming up August 11th.
He would have been 72.
Yes. So technically, Hogan lasted 72 years on this earth. But yeah, Bubba and Brooke, according to them, they said he needed to slow down and take a chill pill. But Hogan just wanted to keep going and going and going. And they feel that caught up with him during the surgery too. Even when he was trying to rest, there was a complication with his esophagus. And that has to do with your breathing.
Yes.
So it led to a cardiac arrest, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
from last Thursday till now, I can admit it, I just been watching nonstop footage of Hogan.
Even in the movie No Holds Barred.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I watched No Holds Barred the day he passed away. But at the ending, when they showed that still image of Hogan doing the rip 'em, I don't know why they changed the original.
Ending,
he was sitting there with his brother the way I'm sitting next to you.
For those who don't know, the ending changed.
They added something
for whatever reason. Yeah.
So then the way just looking at him like this with the whew, and it faded to black, and then when that No Holds Barred song came on with the credits, it broke me, and I got choked up and I cried. Aww. I could admit it. But like I said, love him or hate him, this business would not be what it is today without Hogan. If McMahon Jr. didn't obtain Hogan for the vision they had, this would not be happening. Remember, there's a little controversy with the Rocky III stuff, and McMahon Sr. didn't like Hogan went to do the movie, but that is what blew Hogan up. That's basically the first time I seen Hogan was in Rocky III as Thunder Lips.
The Ultimate Male.
The Ultimate Male versus the Ultimate Meatball, which was Rocky, according to Thunder Lips.
Right.
But a lot of fun fact about me, the first wrestling match I ever really saw was on a VHS tape. It had WrestleMania 2 and WrestleMania 3 on it. But the very first match I seen, because of the way the tape was set up, was Hogan and Bundy, WrestleMania 2, for the WWF Championship of this shirt that I'm wearing, in a steel cage. But I went back in time during my older years and learned more about the past of wrestling. But I'm saying, my cherry broke with that VHS tape. You can't really count the Rocky thing, because it was a movie.
When I started...
And of course also the Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling cartoons, which led into, at 12 p.m. on Channel 5, the WWF Superstars. Right. That was all my beginnings of getting into wrestling. But why? It was because of Hogan.
Well, so can I explain how I started watching wrestling when Hogan was around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. It's just been too much, folks.
I know it's been too much. It's okay. Okay.
Like,
you don't have to explain yourself. It's fine.
If people know me personally, okay, everybody knows my most favorite of all time is the Ultimate Warrior.
Right.
But still, even a guy like the Warrior, no Hogan, no Warrior.
Gotcha. All right.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm just sorry. It's
You're
just
overwhelmed.
yes. This was unexpected. Plus
Of course.
that new Hogan Sports Bar is gonna open up, and it's unfortunate Hogan's not alive to see it.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But now,
sorry, go ahead.
But so as far as me, how for those who are wondering how long I've been watching wrestling, I've been watching wrestling as early as 1983. So I was around watching wrestling when it was at the Garden, when Backlund was champion, and Hogan slowly came back into the fold, so to speak. So I remember those times. The first time I did see Hogan kind of wrestle when he did team up with Backlund against the Samoans.
So that's the first match of Hogan you
That
ever saw.
well, that was his first match coming back. Period. But and I think I may have saw some AWA tapes, floating around.
Well, listen, a lot of guys our age, we have different ways or adventures of how we first saw. I just explained. I saw it on a VHS tape. It had WrestleMania 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I also remember about that?
What?
My grandpa rented both and had this friend of ours called Uncle Jack put both of them on that tape.
Yeah,
It literally happened weeks after the Andre the Giant thing, which I had no clue of WrestleMania, anything. I learned everything from that tape.
No, I remember the build of the Hogan and Andre thing.
Yeah, but it was on.
It
was on the tape, but you probably saw it the real live.
The whole thing as it happened. Yes, I remember that as a kid because one week Andre was gonna, he was upset that he got this big trophy and one little trophy. He didn't say anything though about it, but then took weeks.
When Andre walked off,
mm-hmm.
and Hogan and Piper were kind of like, why did he leave?
Actually, when Hogan fought Kamala, and right after that match at the Garden, by the way, Andre came in and picked up the belt. He looked at it for a minute. This is before Andre turned bad.
Like one of these?
Yeah.
And then gave it to Hogan?
No, he just threw it at Hogan and just walked away.
Okay. I thought he did one of these like.
No, he did that.
So he threw it at him?
No, yeah, I can show you after this whole thing is done.
Did Hogan make a face like, "Why'd you throw it at me"?
Yeah, and he walked away. And this was before.
Was that already a sign?
Yes.
He's gonna betray Hogan.
Yes.
Unbelievable. See, I didn't see that. He's fortunate to see that.
Right.
They didn't even show that on that tape I had.
I can show you after this. But anyway, so that's how I knew. I've been watching wrestling since '83. Since my aunt got me into wrestling and my cousin. So, and my father was into it as well. And so it does have its little sentimental stuff. I was around when they built the WrestleMania and the build of WrestleMania 2. I remember that.
You know what's funny?
What?
When you mentioned that throwing that belt at Hogan.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, because like I said, the first time I seen Hogan was Rocky 3. The belt they used while he was Thunder Lips,
mm-hmm.
that was literally the first championship wrestling belt I seen. When it comes to wrestling, because you seen Rocky with the boxing belt, but the Thunder Lips belt was the first wrestling championship I ever seen,
mm-hmm.
and it holds a sentimental place with me.
Mm-hmm.
But this one too on my shirt. Of course, we all love the Winged Eagle belt. But yeah, the Thunder Lips belt and this belt, which they called the 86 Hogan belt, are the two world championships I ever seen. Of course, I seen the Intercontinental belt.
Right.
But when it comes to world titles, yeah, it was that first Thunder Lips belt and then this one. But then I remember when that Winged Eagle came out, the day Hogan lost to Andre.
Sure.
When Hogan did the entrance, he came out with the Winged Eagle belt for the first time. You know what?
What?
One thing about Hogan, I will say.
What?
Just tell me if you agree or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is okay, I will say 5 moments of Hogan that is like epic, legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Like top 5 moments of Hogan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least mine, you know what they were?
What?
When Hogan slam Andre.
Yes. WrestleMania 3.
When Hogan formed the NWO.
Yes.
When they threw all the garbage in the ring.
Yes, that was Bash at the Beach, 1996.
When Hogan went into the Hall of Fame, the
Mm.
fans would not shut up. It was going on for like, what, 10 minutes before he could finally talk?
Yes.
And then remember again, when Hogan was in Canada, same thing. For about 10 minutes, they were cheering him like crazy, and the fans would not shut up.
Mm.
And then the 5th moment, remember when he fought The Rock? He had that moment where the fans switched.
Yeah.
Remember Hogan hulked up and the Sky Dome went nuts.
Yeah.
And they said, "Fuck you, Rock," and everybody went back to Hogan.
Yeah.
That
place
was like a switch that was just not planned, not nothing. And The Rock even had that face like, holy shit. The Rock won that match. But yeah, it kind of, I never seen nothing like that before.
or nor something like that since. I
No.
can. There's a few moments, but nothing like that. So yeah, it was quite a wild moment at the time. And I've been to the Sky Dome now. Finally, this past year, to see wrestling. Yeah, it's great. The fans are nuts, though. They were really into almost everything that's there.
Actually, you know what? I have 2 sentimental moments in the Garden.
Yes.
With Hogan.
Yes.
No, I wasn't with Hogan, but I was watching.
Okay.
Do you remember the 2 times he fought Ric Flair in the Garden?
Yes, I was one of. I was
Do
there
you
for one
know?
of them.
No, you don't understand. You younger fans today, you don't get it.
Angelo, I was there for two of the matches.
Okay, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the viewers.
You, the viewers. But okay, so explain, please.
Okay, do you remember in both match how loud it was? That you went deaf.
Yes.
When he was beating on Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I couldn't. My grandpa went like this. That's how loud it was. And I remember,
like this. Wow.
Yeah, he had to plug his ears. I stood on the chair like, yeah, Hogan, fuck him up, Hogan. Everybody was going bananas the way he was just beating up Ric Flair. In both matches.
Okay.
I never heard the Garden that fucking loud in my life.
And I've heard loud.
It was no, that was loud beyond loud. And Hogan was just doing the simplest things, like pick him up, everybody's going nuts. He grabbing him by the hair, doing the Hogan thing, everybody's going nuts. I'm like, he's just doing simple shit, and everybody's going ape shit, going crazy.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you met Hulk Hogan yourself?
Like literally in person?
Yes.
Well, you were there. Remember that one time? He was Mr. America.
Mm-hmm. So
we had the seat where, you could high-five a wrestler.
Yes.
Remember?
The entranceway, yes.
Yeah, remember when the match was done, and when he was leaving, he gave me a high five, and I caught a photo of it, and you see him like doing like this.
Oh, you got to look for that photo.
I know. And then, remember when we went to that press conference?
Which one was
it? Was one of them where people were chanting Austin versus Hogan.
I'm trying to think which one.
It had Hogan, Austin, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, and I think one more other person.
Oh, that had to been for like that WrestleMania 18, 19, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But remember, when everything was done...
No, it was 19, for 19, I'm sorry.
When you were close to the stage, you were lucky enough, Hogan was reaching down doing handshakes, and I shook Hogan's hand.
Oh, I think that was from WrestleMania 19, I remember now.
That's when Hogan fought McMahon.
Yeah, 19. All right, so...
So, yeah, not like I didn't have no privilege having a picture with Hogan, but those were my moments of, yeah, I shook Hogan's hand twice.
The closest, I may have had to had a picture with him, but this is how I met him. He went to my school.
The no holds barred thing.
Yeah. So in 1989, when No Holds Barred came out, he was promoting the movie, and he actually came to my school, PS 158. For those who actually went there, yes, I went. It's the same guy, me. Anyway, I met Hogan. I had the No Holds Barred T-shirt and a WrestleMania hat, and a picture of him.
I have the Rip 'em shirt.
Yeah, but I have the No Holds Barred, that Hogan and Zeus face-to-face thing. I still have it because it has Hulk Hogan's signature on it.
Okay.
I wore it a couple of times, which I regret doing. And
Well, we didn't know at the time.
yeah, so I don't know if there's any value. I'm not going to say I'm going to sell it, but I have it in my little basement somewhere in the upstates where all my archives have. But that's a whole nother story.
I would say, well, all the Hogan shirts I have, including this one here, I wore them. But I would only say maybe the most valuable thing I have is that 2-pack figures, the Mega Powers, that came out recently.
Yes.
It's never been opened. I didn't get it signed, but I'm never going to open it. It's in my closet with the rest of the wrestling figures.
I got a lot of memorabilia. And people who've been to my house would see the stuff that I have that you wouldn't even not find anywhere. Not even at WWE warehouse shit. They would kill for the stuff I have, and he can tell you that. And it's a little crazy. So, and when I heard Hogan died, just like you, I was just shocked, sad, and just like, what happened? You know what I mean? But then I'm not surprised because you've heard stories recently, within the last week or so, or even more, prior to Hogan's death, that they said that Hogan was in his deathbed. Hogan, according to Bubba the Love Sponge, that you stated earlier.
Yeah. So, and here's the funny thing.
But they think no one believed him.
Yeah, people thought he was because then Jimmy Hart said no, he's fine. And then Hogan's wife said he's fine. But I think they were doing that so people like us wouldn't worry. But listen, you gotta be real with yourself. At Hogan's age, it was a neck surgery.
Yes.
That's still at 70 years old. No, 71, sorry.
71.
Getting a neck surgery, that's still kind of like. But you know what? I want to know, did Hogan really need to do that surgery?
Maybe because he had pain on. That's why. That could have been the reason.
But see, this is what I think by what Bubba and his daughter said about Hogan. You need to chill and relax. This before the surgery, they were telling him, chill out, man. You're traveling too much to promote the beer. I think everything just caught up to Hogan.
Right.
I feel really bad because I wish, like I said, that sports bar is going to open, they claim, in late fall. Mm-hmm. That he's not going to see it.
Well, which is sad.
And I guess all the profit goes to his wife and his kids.
Well, that's a whole nother situation.
Well, who else is going to get? Who else?
That's a whole nother situation, right? Then I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
But you know what I mean,
right? But
oh, it's still shot. You know what? Even a part of me says it feels like he didn't die.
I can see why you.
Because of that whole the immortal Hulk Hogan stuff.
Yeah.
And the Hulkamania lived forever.
Yep.
It okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Well,
it's just really hard, man.
Well, like I said, as we're about to wrap up the show, this whole show has been dedicated to talking about Hulk Hogan. And yes, next week, I can guarantee you this, we will have wrestling. Matter of fact, the United Continental Championship is on the line next week. Shout out to Joey Sins, which he'll be on next week. So I think you'll be on next week too, because I think you wanted to. We'll talk about it later.
I'll get back into that mode when next week comes.
Yes. So with that,
just the Hulk Hogan passing away has been hard on a lot of us.
Yes. So yeah. Exactly.
But like I said earlier, whether you love him or hate him, we know the reasons why you would hate him, but we don't want to spew out hate right now.
Right.
I would look at it more like, listen, we know what he said and did. a few times, but now he passed on. I would not celebrate a person passing away, meaning like I'm happy that it happened. That's a little too much.
I agree.
That's why I said, can you at least just remember his Cody Rhodes said it best. Remember his contributions to professional wrestling.
There you go.
At least that.
Right.
If you want to hate him for his personal life, that's your business.
Right,
but don't be like, ha ha ha, you died. No, that's a little kind of too much.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
And on that note, like I said, this Tuesday we're having an all-new episode of WTF TV on Manhattan Neighborhood Network and YouTube. This Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on Channel 34, MNN1. So don't forget that. We have a new episode. I think you might be there, so who knows what's going to happen. But next week we have an all-new episode of WTF Wrestling Outlaws. Joey Sins will be here. Angelo's going to be here. I'm going to be here. Who else is going to be there? Who knows? And on that note, I just want to thank Angelo, of course, coming on. We're gonna, in your establishment, talking about Hulk Hogan for the last half hour.
Yeah. It's just still, man.
Yes.
All of this, me and you sitting here, would not be happening without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and if you want to sip a coffee while you're thinking that Hogan, should be celebrated for his death, the way
even if you have a meal, just dedicate it to Hogan and watch some of his matches or something.
Well, somebody had a sip of coffee and didn't care, which is, like you said, disrespectful earlier.
Listen, there's a lot of people dealing with it their own way.
I get it.
Even the people who are, okay, like I said, we know what he did and said, but he's gone now.
Yeah.
If you're happy that he's gone, one of you type of people, okay, fine. But somebody like me, I'm not happy he's gone. All right? To each his own.
Right.
But I'm not gonna be like, yay, a person died. No, I don't do that.
All right. So on that note, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.
Rest in peace, Hogan. And for you, Hogan, in one of my next matches, this is where the power lies.
And on that, yes, and
I'm gonna unleash it on the next motherfucker I step in the ring with.
And on that note, we will see you guys next week in an all-new episode you don't really want to miss, all right? Angelo, once again, thanks a lot, and we will see you guys next time.
Hulkamania, live forever.